Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to this channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn the notification buttons as we bring your way on unbiased reportage of events.
Recent rift between the presidential candidate of NNPC, Kwankwaso Musa, and of course Ganduje, the immediate past governor of Kano State, has taken unusual dimension. And of course, uh, Ganduje said if he had met him at the Aso Villa, he would have given him a slap. Possibly could that be another version of the Bianca slap or Shehu slap? So, what do you think about it?
Thank you for having me. I think from the response of Kwankwaso, I think he's laughing because Kwankwaso started by saying even Ganduje cannot look at him in the face, let alone slapping him. And he regarded him as his boy. And if you go down to memory lane, I think to an extent you agree with Kwankwaso that to a large extent that Ganduje is his boy. Because if you look at when Ganduje started his political career, it started in 2000 and it started in 1999, and that was precisely when Kwankwaso became the governor of Kano State, and he used him as his running mate. And at that time, Kwankwaso was the governor while Ganduje was his running mate. After that first tenure, we had an issue where the the tsunami of Buhari then, who is seen as Mr. Gaskia in the north, came to Kano to campaign, and he saw Shakao, who was a civil servant and who needed to contest under the platform of his party. So he wrote, Shakao wrote on the popularity of Buhari then to displace Kwankwaso, who could not make it for the second term. But as soon as he lost to Shakao, Obasanjo then, the president then, made him the Minister of Defense. And to still prove to Ganduje that Ganduje is his boy, Kwankwaso made him his PA as a Minister of Defense. After that tenure, Ganduje, after the tenure of Kwankwaso as minister, he could not get any other political position, appointment under Jonathan. So he decided to secure a diplomatic work for Ganduje in one of Nigeria's foreign mission abroad.
You mean Kwankwaso did that to Ganduje? Ganduje Gandola.
Yes, that is to prove that actually is his boy. Then, having served in that capacity for a while, Kwankwaso contested as a governor and won. And this time around, he only used Ganduje as his running mate to further prove that he groomed him, he brought him up. After all said and done, when he was leaving office as a second-term governor, because we understand that as a governor, you only have the constitutional right to run twice. Having completed the mandatory 2 tenure, he needed to quit the seat of power in Kano State. And he was able to use his influence to influence Ganduje succeeding him. So to that extent, I think he's right when he referred to Ganduje as his boy. Then again, you now look at the recent election, the general election in 2019 and this current election of 2023. In 2019, Ganduje brought out a candidate under PDP. Sorry, Kwankwaso brought out a candidate under PDP. And in the first round of election, the person was leading. And before they declared the election inconclusive, the PDP candidate that wrote on the propriety of Kwankwaso was leading that election. So APC, which Ganduje represent then, merely won under controversial circumstances. Though we may not say much of it because the Supreme Court, the case rose from the Electoral Tribunal through the Appeal Court to Supreme Court. So Supreme Court legitimized it, but it was under controversial circumstance that APC won and to show his popularity. Then in 2023 general election, precisely gubernatorial election, I think Kwankwaso was able to tell Ganduje that yes, you are my boy, because we saw how he defeated him in that election. And we are talking about a candidate from a non-popular political party challenging an incumbent governor in the party of the incumbent governor of that state, and the party or the ruling party at the national. And NNPP was able to displace APC's candidate in that gubernatorial election. So to that extent, I think I strongly believe that Kwankwaso is a godfather of Ganduje. So I think I concede to Kwankwaso when he said that Ganduje cannot look at him in the face.
Could it have informed the rifts or of course, engineered more misunderstanding between them? Possibly, Danguja might be feeling cheated for not going for the second tenor.
No, Ganduje already finished his 2 tenors.
Okay, I mean, he finished his tenure. He wanted to implant another man.
Yes,
he wanted to become the Jagaban of Kano.
Yes, he wanted to become a political godfather in the state.
And prove to Danguja that he's no longer a boy, that has become a man.
He has grown into adulthood. But unfortunately, Kwankwaso was able to prove it wrong. And if you look at it,
not just proving it wrong, just to place him where he belongs, to retire him where he belongs,
Now, if you look at the position, or rather the reasons given to Ganduje as to why he's not happy with Kwankwaso, it borders on demolition of some properties belonging to some individuals in the states. And though Kwankwaso is not the governor, but there's a situation from some quarters that since the incumbent governor is his boy, that he may have he may be the one giving him the instruction or the directive to go about the demolition of those structures. And I think that is that speculation is not misplaced, because if you look at the statement credited to Kwankwaso recently, he gave reasons why those buildings must be demolished. According to him, he said those buildings are being built on government reserve lands for mosques, for markets, and that is not, the law is not a respect of anybody. If you wrongly acquire a land because perhaps you have the power of incumbency and you are no longer there, the people who want to correct the abnormality will definitely bring the law against such person. So according to Kwankwaso, those properties that are being demolished are built in government-owned lands designated for developmental purpose by the state government.
It was wrongly acquired by Ganduje.
No, it may not be directly Ganduje. It may be a close ally, because for him to have picked issue with properties belonging to individuals that have been demolished, it implies that he's either directly or indirectly affected. So for me, I think it has something to do with maybe his cronies, his friends, his political allies. That best explains the reason he's not comfortable. For him to have gone to that extent of saying he would have slapped his former boss if he had met him in Aso Rock, I think it's going to show that he's bitter about the demolition. And to be bitter to that extent implies that it must have affected his close associates.
I think that is just a mere conflict of interest. And I hope that in the course of time they will know how to sort themselves out anyway. But it seems Kwankwaso is romancing this administration. Would it mean that there is something undertone that we don't know?
Kwankwaso, even before the election, have diplomatically called the president, Ahmed Tinubu, a strategist. And to confirm what you just said, recently in France, the news went viral that Kwankwaso had a private meeting with the president. And recently, I think yesterday or so, there was news about their sign meeting in Aso Rock. And Kwankwaso have confirmed it, where I said actually that the president has given him appointments that they are still discussing, and that it is after the formation of the 10th Assembly before the thing will finalize, whether he will accept or not. So from indication, it implies that it is a position that needs National Assembly to confirm and approve. for him to cite National Assembly inauguration for the appointment or yes or for the appointment to take effect. So from the question you asked, I can infer from his own statement, I mean Kwankwaso, that they are close ally and he's possibly going to work with the current government. No, he have said that he's not quitting his political party, so it's yet to be understood under what capacity he's likely going to work. Just like some people are insinuating that the former governor, immediate past governor of Rivers State, may likely work under this administration, but it's not yet clear whether he's going to be a PDP member at the same time and a member of the executive at the national level of another political party. And it's yet to be seen how his own party will react to it, whether they will go about to sanction him. Don't forget that recently a court have ruled that PDP have rights to sanction or even to expel Wike himself.
Yes.
So it's yet to
But
be seen.
before that, he should be given fair hearing.
No, nobody's denying anybody fair hearing. Nobody's saying anybody should not get fair hearing because you probably agree with me that even Wike himself, before in the build up to that general election, he went to court to ask court to stop his own political party PDP this time from expelling him or sanctioning him. So for a court to come out at this point and affirm that PDP reserve the right to sanction or question or discipline him, I think the ball would be in the court of the PDP. But I think it depends on how he carries about his political activities going forward. And he has not hidden his preference for the Mr. President and their closeness, that he's his close ally. Having visited the presidential villa more than 4 times or 3 times within 1 month.
Possibly he's trying to lobby and get the endorsement of the president, which possibly the president understood that is not somebody he might likely work with, considering his antecedents and how troublesome he has been with the PDP, and possibly might, of course, exhibit such a character within his cabinet should he be given the opportunity to serve. It could be that the president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is having a rethink whether he could possibly cope with this man with such a character that is repulsive, so to say.
I don't think that is the situation because in one of the visits, I think he went alone. The recent one, we saw him go there in company of what they call the integrity group, or rather the G5, and it shows that it has to do with even beyond his own personal ambition or rather interest. He may be trying to use his closeness to the president to secure appointment or a buying of other members of the integrity group in this government. So for me, from what we are seeing and from the romance and from the body language of the president and the Wike himself, it shows that the president is likely going to allow him to participate in his government.
Well, time will reveal. Integrity group in what respect? These are people who has not delivered in their states. Just citing the Enugu governor who left the states more devastated. So what kind of integrity? Look at Benue State, who could not deliver dividends of democracy to his own people, could be considered integrity. In what sense? Who are they deceiving? It's quite unfortunate. Well, we will continue to watch as things unfold. But do you see the possibility of Tinubu conceding to their condition of acceptance?
It's clear that definitely they have a place to perform in this administration. Going by all the clandestine meeting we are seeing and the statement coming from the integrity group side, if they for any reason they are not in good term, I think the presidency would have spoken. Since the presidency have not refuted any of the assertion of the integrity group, it implies that all the things they dish out to the public is what is actually discussed at the level of the clandestine meeting.
Maybe the president is waiting for the right time to speak. He wouldn't want to, of course, have issues with them. He's more or less concentrating in consolidating his administration. Well, time will reveal more of that, and possibly another drama might erupt, and possibly Nigeria will know better the secrets, things that are discussed in the behind the cameras will be made public. So, what was your assessment in the last few, of course, weeks of Mr. President assuming office?
I've seen a president who may go on vendetta, going by the recent arrest, asking the CBN governor to go on suspension and the subsequent arrest and detention by the DSS. But I'm not saying people should not be made to answer for their wrongdoing while they hold office. But what I'm trying to say in essence is we are in a constitutional democracy. And the constitutional democracy, if you have an appointment that is tenure based, it is understandable that whether there is another government is a continuity. So I'm not saying the president does not reserve the right or the power to hire and fire. That is what he has utilized, irrespective of the tenure of the office of the civilian governor. But arresting the man even before investigation calls to question. Because one would have expected that once he is arrested, the next thing we would have seen being arraigned in court. So I hope it's not going to be another journey of vendetta we saw in the time of Muhammadu Buhari, when he just assumed office and he went ahead to arrest Dasuki, who at the time people speculated that he played a pivotal role during his time they ousted him out as a military president. And don't forget that people insinuated before, during the election and the lead up to the election, that the monetary policy of the federal government was targeted at the Jagaban himself. So there's speculation that the essence of asking to leave office and subsequent arrest may not be unconnected with that politicking. And if that is true, for me, I don't think that is the way we should be playing our politics.
Maybe he's trying to take his own point of place. But before arraignment, detention or squeezing, he possibly may have, they may have information or evidence of indictments. Don't you think so? To rope him?
That is the beauty of democracy. If you arrest an individual, the onus lies on you to arraign him before he comes to competent jurisdiction. He will take his plea, and if it's a bailable offense, they argue his bail. If his bail is granted or they deny him bail, the proceedings of the country starts. But especially where you are arresting somebody, is not clear whether you are going to castrate him and detain him for whatever period of time is not yet clear. But I hope it is not going to be the type of detention of witness under Buhari, where he will arrest an individual and even with court order, he will not want to give it a thought. So for me, if the purpose of the arrest is for actually arraign him, I think they should quickly do that.
Indeed, without further delay, we hope that his experience will not be that of grace to grass, having enjoyed so many privileges and such lofty heights will not be ridiculed, of course, disgraced at the end of the day. Thank you for your time. It's been an exciting moment being with you.